So in this lesson, I'm going to continue on with the Seascape mixes, except I'm going to be doing a comparison on pre-mixed colors. And these are the colors that I have in my toolbox. And I created a chart separate. Now, if you've been following me, you should already have access to a lot of the colors that I use in my limited palette, which is, now I'm going to explain these. So Phthalo Blue, Ultramarine Blue, Phthalo Green Blue, and Hansa Yellow Light. Okay, so these are in my palette. So my limited palette is the Phthalo Blue, Ultramarine Blue, and Hansa Yellow Light. With my extended palette, which broadens what I can color mix, I added Phthalo Green Blue and Hansa Yellow Medium. I'm on the fence on. I don't use it a lot, but it's there. To push it even further, in this chart, I also added Hansa Yellow in here and Phthalo Green Yellow, just so you can see the differences. So Phthalo Green leans Phthalo Green Blue leans towards blue. Phthalo Green Yellow leans towards yellow. Phthalo Blue leans towards green. Ultramarine Blue leans towards violet. Hansa Yellow Light leans towards green. Hansa Yellow is neutral. Hansa Yellow Medium leans towards orange. Okay, so you should already have, if you've been following along, you should already have access to all of this stuff. So now what I want to do is take a step back. For those of you that, yeah, you want to paint your seascapes, but you don't want to spend time learning color mixing, and there's nothing wrong with that. So I want to show you some colors that are super nice, that I've worked with, especially with teaching beginners, like absolute beginners, using these colors. So we have the DecoArt Traditions, Aquamarine and Cerulean Blue, then the DecoArt Media Fluid Acrylics, Cobalt Teal Hue, Cobalt Turquoise Hue, Cobalt Blue, and Prussian Blue Hue. Now, with all these colors going into my tons of color mixing courses, you can color mix these colors already. If you don't want to use pre-mixed colors, you can color mix them using a limited palette. So I'm going to put that aside. So what I want to do is I want to just go here, and I also wrote down the pigments that are actually like Aquamarine is made up with Phthalo Green, Phthalo Blue, and a white. So if you do like color mixing, you'll be able to mix these up as well. So I've got a brush, and I've got my paper towel here. So I'm going to start off using Aquamarine. It is a beautiful, beautiful blue. And with the Aquamarine, you can then take it and you can shift it by adding a little bit more green to it, depending on the water, what you've got. But look how beautiful that is. Now this is made with Phthalo Green, Phthalo Blue, and white. Okay, then the ratios, no manufacturer, there isn't one manufacturer will actually tell you how much green, how much blue, and how much white. That's their formulas. It's up to you to, if you want to color mix that, it's up to you to know what the actual main colors are, and then you can experiment with the formulas. But since this video is leaning towards beginners who don't want to know about color mixing, this is already done for you. And then from there, let's say you want to paint and you want to make it a little bit more green, add a bit more green to it. You want it a bit lighter, add a bit more white. And anytime you're doing you're experimenting with colors, always create charts like this so you can see what the colors actually look like. Color charts that are provided by paint manufacturers, they use a printing process, and it's not paint. They use a printing process, and then when they digitize it to a PDF, the colors come across different as well. It's not the fault of the manufacturer, it's technology. Not everybody's monitors look the same, not everybody's graphics card in their computers is the same. The best way is to create your hand-painted chart. As well, taking, your paint colors, you can take a little bit of paint and put it right on the lid. Some manufacturers out there create hand-painted color charts. You have to buy them, but, they're there. So it might be handy if that's something you want to look at. So the next one is Cerulean Blue. So Cerulean Blue is a really nice, intense blue, super for seascapes. Now, one thing with Cerulean Blue, if you're working with oils, it is one of the more expensive pigments to work with. You can mix something very similar. I've got videos to show you how to do that. With this, don't be tempted in getting an imitation Cerulean Blue, because you can color mix it yourself. But for those of you that don't want to do any color mixing, this Cerulean Blue is gorgeous. Really, really nice. And let me go back and put more blue in here. There we go. That's a single pigment, so you can't do an exact color mix to that. It's PB35, but as is, really beautiful. Cobalt Teal Hue. This is the DecoArt Media Fluid Acrylics. I love this blue. This is PB28. It's a bit more fluid, so it's transparent. So this would work well if you're doing glazes, so adding transparent layers of colors. But that's just to show you. So I'm looking at this, I'm thinking, hey, that's pretty close to that when it's neutralized with white, but it's transparent. Okay, so this is another nice color. Cobalt Turquoise Hue. Okay, so this one's a bit more challenging. So this is made with PB36, which I don't have. I don't know what color that is. But looking at PB35 Cerulean Blue, it could be something similar. I've got videos to show how you can actually make something like this. But PB36, PG7, which is phthalo green, PBK7, which is black, PBW6, which is titanium white. And another beautiful blue-green. And it is transparent. And we'll add white to see the true underlying color. Nice. So if you wanted to create a seascape on a big canvas, excuse me, using the fluid acrylics, you're probably going to need 2 coats of paint because the fluid acrylics, they are more fluid. So if we're doing large canvas pieces, I like using the Traditions. And DecoArt's coming out with their new tube acrylics, which I'm super excited to try those. For mixed media, I like using the fluid acrylics because you can play with a whole bunch of stuff. Cobalt Blue Hue. So this one here is a nice blue. You can make something similar to this if you wanted to with Phthalo Blue and Ultramarine Blue. But if you didn't want a color mix, it's a nice blue. When I look at this, I think of denim. But this is nice when you're, say if you're painting a seascape that has a boat in it, and let's say the boat is blue, you can use some of this color as well. And then Prussian Blue. Prussian Blue, depending on the manufacturer, DecoArt makes it with Phthalo Blue and black. Too hard to see there, so what we're going to do, we're going to add some white. There we go. I love this. Love this, love this, love this. So this would be a nice color to use if you're creating, like I say, a stormy seascape with, there's storm clouds, so you can make the water shadowed. If you're creating a seascape where, let's say, there's a lot of shadow under the boat, you can use that. Again, storm clouds, gray water type of thing. So these are all colors that you can use for seascape paintings and ocean paintings. And then from here, it's just a matter of kind of shifting them if you wanted to shift them. So when I say shifting them, you can turn around and you can use this color chart that I have where you can take your mix, whatever mix you have, and then from there, so you wouldn't really have color 1, color 2. You could have your primary mix, let's say would be Cerulean Blue. So we could put Cerulean Blue in here. Then color 1, color 2, we could say Phthalo Blue and Phthalo Green, and see what further mixtures that we can get by shifting this. Make it more blue, make it more green, dull it down by adding a complement, dull it down by adding burnt sienna, dull it down by adding carbon black. All these different things that you can do, and just experiment and keep a record of everything that you've done. That way you know in your mind, you can flip through and think, oh yeah, that's how I made this. I will tell you, I've got thousands and thousands and thousands of color mixing charts in art journals, and to this day I still get stuck if I'm painting something and it's usually with a portrait and wildlife, where I'm thinking, oh, okay, I know how to do this. I know how to do this. And if I'm out of a paint color, I will go to my charts and just say, oh yeah, now I remember. And just a little refresher. Okay. I've been doing this for a lot of years, and after a while, this becomes very repetitive. You'll only need to refer back to the charts on colors you don't use a lot of. Okay, if you don't use a lot of the colors, you'll need to refer back to the charts. The seascape mixes are really handy because basically seascapes are blue and green. So as long as you know what your blues are and you know what your greens are, everything else is easy peasy. All right, so make up your charts, make up your notes, and then from there, take what you've learned and apply it to painting an actual seascape painting.